We'll be looking at the introduction and development of cinema in Nigeria under colonial rule. The introduction and development of cinema in Nigeria under colonial rule. So we'll be looking at what happened between 1903 to 1960. Remember, the last time we tried to give an overview of the development of cinema in Nigeria. Development of cinema in Africa, particularly in Nigeria. And remember what we said? We said that cinema, the history of cinema in Africa cannot be told without talking about colonization, right? And then we defined colonization, and we equally defined, how the white men came to Nigeria. So today, one of the things I'd like us to look at is, first of all, how did cinema enter Nigeria? And what are some of the trajectories? What are some of the influences that shaped cinema in Nigeria? So at the end of the class, students should be able to explain how cinema was introduced. Get another person, please. So the intention of this class are, number one, for you as students to be able to explain how cinema was introduced in Nigeria. That's one of the things one of the takeaways you get from this class. And again, you need to identify the major colonial institutions involved in film development. What are some of the colonial institutions we had that shaped film development in Nigeria? And again, another thing you should be able to do is to discuss the role of film in colonial administration and propaganda. Do you know what colonial administration means? If you know, let me know. Remember, Bosco, do you know what colonial administration means?
The government, the colonial masters handle their administration.
How did colonial masters handle the administration? Remember, Nigeria got our independence in 19 what? By 1944, what happened? In 1914, what happened? Amalgamation, right?
Yes.
Now, what we are going to see today is that even before that 1914, film has entered Nigeria by 1903. Do you understand? Now, so after this class, you should be able to discuss the role of film. What did film do during colonial administration, during colonization, during the period the white men were with us? What did film do? How did the white man use film? Especially through propaganda. You know what propaganda means? You know what propaganda means? What? Okay, he said propaganda is fake promise. It's fake propaganda, actually fake promise. If we say that government is carrying out propaganda against Peter Obi, Tinubu's government is carrying out propaganda against Peter Obi, what does that mean? Or Peter Obi's, what's it called? The movement is called what again? Obedient movements are carrying out propaganda against Tinubu. What does that mean? You are putting out false informations. False informations. And most times, these informations are false information, pieces of information, because there's no S in information. False pieces of information. And this information, most times, are targeted at lampooning somebody. For instance, you can actually carry out a propaganda against me by saying that, for a lady, that you failed my exam because I've been calling you, and you are not answering me. It's propaganda. But most times, That is used through one government through another. So by the end of this lecture, you should equally understand how the colonial masters use film as a tool for propaganda. Because the cinema or the visual medium or the motion picture is a very prominent propaganda medium. What that means is that what I cannot use my mouth to talk, I could actually produce it in a mediated device and use it to carry a propaganda against somebody. So by the end of this class, we'll be able to understand how the colonial masters used film to carry out propaganda. And again, we should be able to examine the contributions and limitations of colonial film policies. Film policies were actually developed by some colonial masters. Remember, we are looking at from 1903, when first film was shown in Global Memorial Hall, till 1960, when we got independence. So at the end, too, we should be able to analyze the state of Nigerian cinema at independence. So we should be able to look at what is the state of Nigerian cinema. You guys know what cinema is, right? What is cinema? What is cinema? Let's stand up and say what cinema means. Stand up, Bosco, and tell me what cinema is. What is cinema?
Cinema can be films are seen, maybe where you watch.
Okay, for Bosco, cinema is a architectural structure where films are shown. Is that right? That's your own understanding. That's what cinema is, right? But I have a different view. Cinema is not just where films are shown. Cinema is both where the films are shown and the process, everything about the process of making a film. From the conceptualization through production to exhibition. All are called what? Cinema. So when we say that we analyze the state of Nigerian cinema at independence in 1960, you should understand that what we are analyzing should not just be the structure, the architectural structure, but we are analyzing everything involved in the development of film in Nigeria. So, like I said, cinema arrived in Nigeria as a part of a broader colonial project of the British Empire. There is no way you can talk about cinema in Nigeria without talking about the British Empire. So cinema had actually arrived, first of all, as a part of a broader colonial project of the British Empire. Now, quite unlike how cinema was introduced in countries like America or some European countries, where film actually developed primarily based on artistic expression. So I was trying to say that unlike Europe and America, what happened? How did cinema get to Europe and America? First of all, it got there as an entertainment or artistic expression. But in Nigeria, cinema was largely introduced as a tool for number one, education, number two, religious evangelism, number three, information dissemination, and number four, colonial administration. That is one of the things I want you guys to understand. That cinema did not get here for the colonial masters to begin to, entertain us. No. No. I said that cinema got here first of all as what?
Religious, religious evangelism, information dissemination, and colonial administration.
First of all, as a tool for education. For the colonial masters, they needed to use cinema to teach us how to speak English. Are we communicating?
Yes, sir.
Which made them to produce a film called Mr. English that tries to teach us how to speak English. Are we communicating? So you discover that to them, they use cinema as a tool for education. Again, by the time cinema entered, another thing I like to talk about is that some commercial merchants, some businessmen from Europe equally use cinema as commercialization, for commercialization purpose, in the sense that because of the artistic or the entertainment value, people could pay to watch and they could make some money. So, first of all, the film that was shown in 1903 came in for commercialization purpose, but the Europeans hijacked it for, first of all, what? Tool for education. Secondly,
Religious evangelism,
thirdly,
information dissemination,
and fourthly.
colonial administration.
So I'm going to talk about everything we're going to talk about in this course is going to revolve around how cinema was used during the colonial administration. Are we communicating? Fire down. Of cinema in Nigeria between 1903 and 1960 laid the foundation for the emergence of modern Nigerian cinema. What does that mean? What you guys know today is Nollywood, isn't it? Nollywood. Everybody wants to act in Nollywood. Our people they talk say, person when know when the rain begin beat them. You no go know when the rain go. So why you guys are here is to at least know when the rain starts to dey beat you. So that by the time rain go begin stop, you go know. So that's why you are here. So activities we are going to be discussing here are preludes to what we are seeing today. The trajectories are what we are seeing today in the modern Nollywood. Are we communicating? All right, so the arrival of cinema in Nigeria, 1903. And we there say that the first recorded public film exhibition in Nigeria took place on
12th August 2019.
you see, everything where you want cram for this course, cram this one now, where they here. 12th August 1903 at Global Memorial Hall, Lagos. Cram 'em. The way where you take cram ABCD when you dey secondary primary school. I mean nursery school. Have you all of una go nursery school? Did you go to nursery school? Did you go to nursery school? Did you go to community nursery school? Is it private? Private? Are we communicating? All right, so the exhibition was organized by Herbert Macaulay and a Spanish showman named Baoba. So this Baoba is a merchant, is a businessman. So primarily, Baoba had entered in the business, in the MOU, because he wants to make some money. So now, if you go down now, you look at characteristics of early cinema screenings. There's something we call silent films. You guys would have learned silent films in your history of cinema 1, right? Yes. So these are, silent films. The films that we are screened then, we are known as silent films. Number 2, they showed short documentary and actuality films. Films that are called actualities, films that just record the events that happened. Films that just record events that happened. These are called actualities, right? Documentaries are when you creatively adapt those events into telling stories. That's the difference. Are you communicating?